Hello everyone, my name is Jesse Ansema. I'm one of the administrators at City High Middle School. My specific title is that of the IB Coordinator. The purpose of this video is to provide a brief and hopefully comprehensive overview of the Middle Years Program, MYP, for grades 7 through 10. A couple things that we're going to look at today. Number one is the IB mission, the IB pathway, something called the learner profile, which I'll explain about later. Some of the whys of the IB program, what are its benefits and being part of it, and then a little bit about the nuts and bolts of MYP at City, the courses, grading, assessments, and supports. Lastly, we'll look at something called the IB core. Specifically, that is CAS, Creativity, Activity, and Service, and the personal project referred to as the PP, specifically for our 10th grade students. What you see in front of you here is the IB mission. I do want to draw your attention to some of the bolded terms. The International Baccalaureate aims to develop inquiring, knowledgeable, and caring young people who realize that they're a part of a much greater world and have the capacity, willingness, and purpose to create a more peaceful world through intercultural understanding and respect. We draw your attention to the last paragraph. These programs encourage students across the world to become active, compassionate, and lifelong learners who understand that other people with their differences can also be right. The capacity to communicate well with people of differing perspectives and opinions is one of the skills that we develop here at City. This is the IB pathway. There are 4 main programs in the International Baccalaureate group. We here at City are authorized for 2 of them. The Middle Years program, grades 7 through 10, and the Diploma program, grades 11 through 12. This video, again, is focusing on MYP. Some broad brushstrokes and general information about the Middle Years program. Number one, it's an internationally recognized curriculum. This curriculum that our 7th through 10th graders learn here at City is the same curriculum that's taught all around the world. So there's a great global community feel to this collective and collaborative learning. Some of the personal developments that our students engage with. Number one, inquiry-based. They become great askers of challenging questions. They're adaptive not only to how they learn, but how they deal with stresses in life. They develop a sense of identity, who they are as individuals, how they fit into a greater community, and how does that culminate in this understanding or concept of culture. They develop varying perspectives. Not only in their communication, but also in the purpose and reasoning for why they should engage in the greater community and those around them. And then all of this develops a mindset of international perspective, the way in which they're able to look introspectively and how that is an extension or causes an extension of an outward look, and what responsibility they have as individuals to be a part of the people around them and their neighborhoods, their communities, and the world at large. I do want to be very clear and quite blunt that IB curriculum is rigorous. It's difficult. You will be challenged, but for how difficult the rigor is, the curriculum is, the support systems here in place are equally as rigorous to make sure that you, in all aspects of your life, academically, mentally, socially, emotionally, are supported and put in a place for success. One of the key things that I can, key pieces of advice that I can give you is find that self-motivation. What is pulling you? What is pushing you? What is driving you? Never be afraid to ask questions. Asking questions is a sign of courage and bravery, not of weakness, and to find ways to be the help for others. What you see here is a schematic and image, a distilled version of the Middle Years program. At the very center is you, the student. We'll talk a little bit more about the learner profile in a minute. The next layer is that of the classroom, how you engage with your teachers. Your teachers have been taught and been given information about how varying ways to approach their teaching from a very IB specific point of view. Your classrooms will be steeped in a global context, and you will be trained in different approaches to learning, ways in which you can engage with, understand, utilize, and digest the information for your greater success. Next, we have the IB core. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Here you have your classes. One I want to draw your attention to is individuals and societies. That's more commonly known as the history class. All of these layers culminate in the culture of MYP, very much an internationally minded perspective, one that's centered around the student and given varying levels in which they are engaging with the people around them to develop themselves and others. At the very center, again, was the learner profile around the student. These right here, what you see in front of you, are 10 attributes that are valued by the IB World Schools. IB World Schools believes that these 10 attributes, when utilized in an individual or developed within an individual, allows them to be effective members of society. So IB students, MYP students, they become great inquirers. They're curious about the information and the situations around them. They ask good questions. They're open-minded and caring. They know their stuff. They're knowledgeable. They're not afraid to take risks in the classroom with their thoughts because they recognize that risk in this context, in this setting, is not a bad thing. It's not a scary thing, but it's one that allows us to grow. They think well, they communicate articulately and effectively. They're balanced in how they look at their life and how they self-assess, and allows them to make decisions based on principles, and all the while being reflective of the process. How can I be doing what I'm doing better? Where am I at with my life? What do I need, and how can I help? So quickly, some of the benefits of the MYP program. There are a few. Hopefully you will find in your time here that this list is not by any means exhaustive, and you could add to it yourself. The academic depth and breadth of the IB curriculum is vast. That's one of the greatest things I love about the IB program. What you learn is going to be deep. You'll delve deep into the topics, both broadly and widely. In addition to that, there's very much of a global cultural context to it. So your curriculum is not going to be a stereotypical American education. You're going to have that. You're going to get the standards. You're going to get everything that you need, but from a more global context, which makes it richer. The MYP and IB curriculums and your experience here is going to mold independent and confident learners. They utilize international benchmarks that are recognized around the world. This is very much a learning community. We know that we learn and grow best when we do it together. Civic-minded in our approach and in our lenses for our decision-making. We recognize in this ever-dependent technological world, technology is a course that is needed. And so IB has made it a core subject course. Our students develop critical thinking skills. They write persuasively, strongly. They develop executive functioning skills such as time management. You'll be able to advance communication skills. And again, everything within a global context, within a worldview, all of which will develop a more holistic learner, focusing on those 10 attributes, how those opportunities for personal growth are woven in through the curriculum and the classrooms that you are a part of. This is an image of City High Middle School. If you are a 7th grade student or family coming in, or any other grade and this is your first year, welcome. We're so happy that you're here with us. This part of the video is going to go through some of the courses, the grading, the assessments, and looking at a 4-year overview of the MYP. These are all your classes here. This slide is a little bit busy, and you're not going to take all of these classes at once. These are all the classes that you will take through 7th through 10th grade. Some of the ones I want to draw your attention to are the ones with the double asterisks next to them. These classes, when taken in 7th and 8th grade, actually earn you high school credit. That is due to the rigor of the curriculum again, and recognition that when you're studying here at City, when you're studying these IB curriculums, you are studying at a higher level than your grade, which is kind of exciting. Again, at the middle, we're looking at the IB core, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's do a 4-year overview. Now, there's a lot on this slide. I want to break it down. Let's take 7th grade, for example. So these are the classes right here that you're going to take as a 7th grader. Take English, Spanish, French, or Mandarin. You're going to pick one of these languages, and that language you have the opportunity to carry through all the way through your 12th grade year. Geography and history, physical and earth science, honors math. Again, even our math classes are ahead of the curve. So honors math is not just regular 7th math. In 7th grade, you get to choose, but well, you're not going to choose. You get to sample both art and music In 8th grade, you will choose which sort of course you want to take. Do you want to stick with the arts and develop your drawing or painting skills, or do you want to go into music, choosing either band, orchestra, and choir? Additionally, some of the electives, we have a business technology class and physical education, and then we have something unique to City in our 8th grade EPIC class, sort of similar to a homeroom. Each year you'll have a certain theme that your lessons will be around. So for example, in 7th grade, you'll focus on the IB foundations. What is IB? What does it mean to be an IB student? And something about economicology. Economicology is synonymous with the term sustainability, and this provides or acts as a backbone to the entire IB program here at City and the City culture. How does economy and ecology work together harmoniously for mutual development? Here's some of the grading schemes at MYP. On the left, you have the normal traditional high school percentage grading. Okay, may see some of these percentages right here in the grade book. You can see how those relate. IB has a slightly different scoring model. It's a 0 through 8 point scale. So recognize that when you're taking or you receive an IB specific grade, it's not going to be a percent, very likely. It will be between that 0 and 8 score. But please be aware that if you come home with a 7 on something, it's not 7 out of 100. You didn't get 7%. If it's an IB score, you got a 7. You did pretty well. That's an A minus. Some of the assessments, again, that 1 through 8 or 0 through 8 score, all IB assessments are graded using rubrics designed by IB. So it gives you a little more nuanced feedback and allows you some information to build your skills further on your next assessment or in your next learning experience. A lot of our assessments are based on certain criteria. And these are like staged intervals of learning and progression down the road of a project. So for example, criterions A through D. Some of those criterions are going to have you focusing on the organizational component of this assessment, or you're on your analyzing ability, or how you're producing a certain text. Each class type, content type, is going to have different criterion, which is appropriate to the curriculum of the class. Now, the goal of this is so that you can look back over your 7th through 10th grades, your 4 years in MYP, and see how you've grown in these actual individual skills through the time that you've been here. Okay, let's look again at the core, IB core. One of them is CAS, Creativity, Activity, and Service. Ms. Dawn McCumber-Austin is our MYP coordinator. Her email is on the screen. She's happy to answer any questions or help in any way that she can. CAS, again, Creativity, is organized into 3 main strands: exploring and extending ideas, leading to an original or interpretive product or performance. So we want our students to be to pursue their creative passions, whether that's drawing, whether that's playing the flute or the trombone, or you're in a garage band, or you're new to the drums and want to learn. Activity: how are you physically exerting your body? How are you contributing to a healthy lifestyle? Whether you play sports for Grand Rapids Public Schools, or you're running a couple times a week around the block or through the trails in Grand Rapids, those pursuits are good for the body and they're good for the mind. And IB and we here at City encourage students to find ways to become physically athletic or to be active in their lifestyles. The last of which is service. How are you engaging with your neighbors, the community, our city community, and in response to an authentic need? How are you serving? These 3 things are opportunities for students to advance not only their academic well-being, but more so who they are as individuals, looking again at that holistic development of students. Now, for the 10th grade, we have the personal project, again, commonly known as or referred to as the PP. The personal project coordinator is Mr. John Tyndall. His email is there. He would also be happy to answer any questions that you might have. 10th grade specifically is focused on the development of this personal project. The personal project is somewhat of a capstone project. It's presented at the end of your 10th grade year. It utilizes and showcases some of the skills that you've developed from grade 7 all the way through grade 10. those executive functioning skills, those research skills, those communication skills and organization. The work is going to be challenging and engaging what you create. And the final piece that you create is accompanied by a reflective paper. Again, touching back on that learner profile of how IB students, city students, are reflective in their practices and reflective in their personhood. Some of the creative examples that we've seen come out of the personal project, for example, some student created an entire bike out of bamboo. We've had large murals, painting pieces, documentaries, music pieces. Last year, we had somebody do a hydroponics plant, which was awesome. So we are always excited to see what our 10th graders create and how they are showing who they are through their personal project. Now, again, as I said before, the curriculum and the experiences here at City are rigorous, but we have support systems in place. You will not do this alone. This is a community effort. We are a learning community, and we lean on each other. Here at City, we have a very experienced counseling team that is trained to help students in more than just navigating high school. And by that, I mean not just navigating your schedule and your classes, but those social needs, those social stressors, those emotional stressors, that type of thing. They walk alongside you, help you out. We have youth advocates in this building whose sole purpose is to engage with the youth, to help them out, to be base of contact, to mitigate or to moderate tensions between fellow classmates or teachers. They're here to help you. We have tutoring from different students in our school, upperclassmen, people from outside sources, Grand Valley State, and a couple other places to help and support your academic well-being. In addition to that, we have something that's unique to City and a couple other places in Grand Rapids Public Schools. We have a support staff that's specifically here to support your emotional health and well-being. Your teachers have developed classroom protocols that are there specifically to support your well-being, and our administration is always here to make sure that you are being your best self in this school and are being as successful as you can be in all facets of your life. And then, of course, parents and guardians, they're here, we're here, we need you, and I want you to know that we are in this together to support the betterment of your student and our collective student body. This is a website that I want to draw your attention to. It is City High Middle School's International Baccalaureate focused website, MYP and DEP, CHMSIB, City High Middle School International Baccalaureate, chmsib.com. On this website, we have all sorts of information and supports for both the MYP and the DP. Students will be using this website quite often, utilizing Google Forms to submit data such as CAS hours and that type of thing. This website is continually updated. It will also house and store our student updates for the week, so give you a little sense of some of the main key pieces of information and what's happening here at City. So if you have not taken a look at this, please check it out. Much more comprehensive information about each of the components of IB. So the goal here at City, our goal is to help students develop the tools, the skills, and the habits of mind to thrive as adults, to build flourishing communities and create a more sustainable future for all the world's inhabitants. IB and City's missions work because they are aligned, and we are so happy to have you here at City with us again this year. Students, we are rooting for you. We're cheering for you. We're so excited to see what you do and how you impact and change this world for the better. Parents and guardians, again, I want to extend a welcome and an assurance that we are here to partner with you, to help you and support you in the raising and in the growth of your students. My name, again, is Jesse Ansema. I'm the IB coordinator and administrator here at City. My email is on the screen, ansemaj@grps.org. Please reach out to me with any questions that you might have. Feel free to call the school and I can talk to you in person. Again, we are so excited that you're a part of our community, and we want you to be the absolute best in your MYP years, grades 7 through 10. Have a good day.